But also, did you notice that we dressed like Black Widow? We're both wearing black.
I did wear Spider-Man because I figured like Black Widow, Spider-Man.
I just was wearing a black shirt, you know.
Welcome back to I2I. This is the place where we talk about anything and everything Disney. My name is Kyle.
And my name is Jessica. And before we get started, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel, turning on that notification bell, and liking this video if you enjoy its content.
And if you like this type of content, we ask you to support it by joining the Powerline, which is our channel membership program. You can find the links for that in the description, but also up above in the video right now. This is a movie review, a spoiler-free movie review over
Black Widow.
Which, for the very first time, folks, let me just go ahead and say right off the bat, Jessica liked it. What world are we living in?
Like a Marvel movie. Can you believe it?
We literally...
Now, to be fair, I've liked Guardians of the Galaxy,
That's
and
true.
I've liked Spider-Man.
That's true.
And I could hang with the Avengers. Didn't love it, but I could hang with it.
If you fall asleep during the
Now,
weekends.
and I liked Black Panther a lot.
Well, that's true. So, okay, but when we set the precedent here, the majority of the Marvel movies, you've walked out and you've said, take it or leave it kind of thing.
Correct.
But so we're
Would
walking
never
out.
like rewatch.
We're walking out of the theater, and I look at her. I'm like expecting the typical, kind of liked it. It was all right. It's fine. And she's like, "Oh, I really liked it." I'm like, "Excuse me, are you okay? Like, somebody take your temperature? We good?"
I didn't even fall asleep once. Like,
I
my
know.
eyes never even blinked.
I never had to poke her like one time. Like, do this.
Now,
sometime.
one time I was watching the movie, and Kyle was like, "Now don't close your eyes." And I'm like, "Well,
Because
duh."
I saw her like getting over here cozy. I was like, "Oh, she's about to go to sleep."
No, I was just like getting all like cozy to anticipate the action.
So that should give you a little bit of a preview about what we thought about the movie. Now, we will not talk about anything that could be related to spoilers here. Anything that we address will have been seen in trailers, things like that. That is fair game here. So just be forewarned that you're safe to that extent right now. The way we normally do this is we do 3 reasons to watch, 1 reason you may not like it, and then we do a rating scale of 1 to 5 rewatchability factors. So you want to talk about our first reason to watch?
Is it? I don't know if it's our first reason, but my first reason is the villain, Taskmaster.
Not a reason to.
So I obviously know nothing about Marvel. I don't know a lot. You know, all of y'all do. But I didn't know who Taskmaster was, knew nothing about this villain at all going in. And the only reason I knew what this villain's powers were was because of our trivia night last night. Shameless plug.
Thursday night, 7:15, be there.
But I loved that the villain's power, I guess, was mimicking other people.
So the way I've heard it like phrased is photographic mimicry or photographic memory. So
Yeah.
as the villain sees, you know, something being done, it can copy it to whatever extent, like it has the human capability to do that. So obviously can't conjure lightning like Thor and stuff like that. But if he could
because
swing a
we all
hammer
can.
like Thor could or something like that.
And did the Captain America thing.
Captain America thing and
And
stuff.
from Black Panther
Yep.
and Spider-Man.
Yep.
And so now there were some that when he was mimicking another hero, I didn't quite catch which hero it was.
Yeah, and I was like mentioning to her, okay, that was Winter Soldier and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
so I didn't catch that, but obviously I knew the Black Panther reference, I knew the Spider-Man reference, and obviously the Captain America reference because of the shield.
All of
But-
those like mimicry things were seen in the trailers too. So it's not if you didn't know they were there, they were in the trailers.
Yeah. So I just thought that was a really cool villain. It was a really cool like power that villain had,
Yep.
and just the villain overall was not what I expected it to be.
Well, I'll say this: I was a little bit not disappointed. Is not the right word, but like maybe underwhelmed by the overall way the villain was fleshed out. I still loved it though, and I was really excited for this. And probably the problem was my anticipation level for it.
Well, that's fair. Again,
honest for it.
I know nothing about these
Still a
villains,
reason to
so-
watch it though, because it's a cool villain.
Yeah.
Reason number 2 that we want to watch this is the non-stop action that is throughout the movie.
Literally nonstop.
Jessica usually doesn't like action movies, and that should tell you something that she agreed that this is one of the reasons to watch.
It was just so much fun. First of all, there were so many scenes. You know that the Indiana Jones show, what is it, Stunt Spectacular
Oh, yeah, in Hollywood
at
Studios.
Hollywood Studios in Disney World. Literally, there was a scene at the beginning of the movie, and I was like, this is stolen from Stunt Spectacular
Which
when
one are
they're
you talking
jumping
about?
into the airplane.
Ah,
when
gotcha.
Alexi is getting in the plane, I'm like, this is Indiana Jones and that girl.
Maybe
So-
a little bit. I don't know.
Anyway, I loved the action. I loved the chase scenes with the cars
Yeah.
and the motorcycles and the airplanes and the parachutes.
So yeah, there was
and-
stuff in the air. There was stuff like, in a car chase. There was on foot action and stuff like that. It really was. So there is like one moment in the movie where they like take an extended, like maybe two, and just do dialogue for a second. But I mean, really, that's it. I mean, you're usually going from set piece to set piece to set piece
Yeah.
of like different types of, hey, we're in this fight. Hey, we're in that fight. This person's chasing us. We're chasing this person. I mean, it is, and sometimes that can be a little gratuitous,
Mhm.
but I felt like for this type of movie where it's a spy thriller, type of thing, that's
Yeah.
kind of necessary, right?
It was, and it didn't feel excessive. Like, okay, hear me out. Don't hate me.
Get ready, everybody.
Hear me out. This is your warning. You know how like Fast and the Furious, it can kind of feel a little excessive at times?
Excuse me, what are you talking about? You talking about launching a car into space?
I'm just saying, you know how it can kind of feel excessive? This never felt excessive like that.
Yes. I never got like to the point where I was like, it's just too much on that.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's reason number 2. Reason number 3 for us.
The humor. Obviously, we are comedy dweebs. We love the comedy factor in most movies.
Marvel does a good job of that too overall.
Yes. And this was like very dry, quippy humor,
Mm-hmm.
which is right up our alley. A little bit sassy, very sarcastic.
Right.
Just, you kind of had to be paying attention to some of them to catch that it were.
Well,
That it was joking.
I think too the humor was coming from places I wasn't expecting it from. Like, and this is not a spoiler, but just something to anticipate if you haven't seen it yet. Yelena, the character that co-stars alongside Scarlett Johansson as a female lead, she is very quippy, and
Very.
it plays really well just with herself and with her co-stars. And I just thought, wow, I did not expect that out of this, and so I really loved it because of that.
Yeah, I agree.
Now we want to talk about one reason that you may not like the movie or may not want to see it. Usually these are like, we really have to search hard for these,
Yeah.
and we did this time. So our one reason that you may not like this, it's not really villain-centric like a lot of Marvel movies are. They spend way more time on the main heroes in this, which in a movie that's wrapping up the story of Black Widow, because I think we all know by now, if you've seen Avengers Endgame, that this is just kind of telling,
The prequel.
a small part of her story that we've never had filled in.
Yeah.
And so they didn't have like a lot of time to spend on Taskmaster, on some other villains in this, but you never felt like you were, I shouldn't say, maybe you did feel like you were lacking at some points.
There was only one
Needed
moment in the
more.
movie, where I felt like I didn't quite understand why the villain was the way they were and how we got here, but it all wrapped up in the end. So it's not like a huge deal, but if you were super focused, like Endgame, you know how that was like all about Thanos?
Mhm.
This is not all about the villain. This is like about the hero, and it's the hero story.
Yeah, and they-
I love that.
And it worked really well. And I think if you're going to have a movie where you're not super focused on the villain, you have to really make the main characters work, and they did. And I think that's why when I realized, I was like, oh, I wanted more from the villains. It was okay because I'd had so much from the heroes in this one. So that's our one reason you may not like it. Now we should rate this film on a rewatchability factor 1 to 5. 5 being I am definitely going out to watch this again. And we are actually going to probably be seeing this, so don't let that factor it into this. But like, let's just pretend we weren't, and say that maybe on a whim you might do it or something like that. So 5 definitely. 1 never going to go see it again. Not even going to buy it probably.
Okay, so 1 is that movie that we always talk about.
It's A Wrinkle in Time. 5 is Avengers Endgame.
Okay. I'm a 5. I am 1000%
You promise this is
going
not like
to see this again. No, I loved this. I absolutely loved
That
it.
tells you something.
I never felt bored. I never felt like, oh my gosh, when are we getting out of here? I never felt like I was done with the movie. 5 out of 5, I'm going to see it again.
So again, trying to keep the whole factor that we're going to see this with somebody else later down the road.
But I'm happy about it.
I am too. I'm going to say a 4. So in a normal circumstance, this is not in game for me. I am not like, when am I going to see this again? Go ahead and buy the tickets as I'm walking out. But someone does not have to like work really hard to convince me to go see it
Right.
again. So the fact that I have a reason to, I'm like, okay, well, let's go see this again, see what else I didn't catch in the movie. So I'm super happy about it.
I'm
Solid
super
movie.
happy.
Very-
Very solid. Also, did you notice that we dressed like Black Widow?
I did,
both wearing black.
I did wear Spider-Man because I figured like Black Widow, Spider-Man.
I just was wearing a black shirt,
We just have Dark Souls, I guess. Just
Mhm.
like Black Widow. I don't know.
I don't know. She's a hero. She doesn't really have a black. Well, she did kill a lot of people.
Hashtag spoilers.
That's not a spoiler. That's in the trailer.
Now we want to know from you, have you seen Black Widow yet? If you have, Share with us if you've seen it on Disney Plus or if you've gone to theaters. But let's try to keep it spoiler free in your commentary about it, just to keep it safe for everybody who hasn't had a chance to watch it just yet. Let's talk about that in the comment section below. What else should they do?
If you haven't already, like I said before, please consider subscribing and turning on that notification bell.
And if you want to watch a spoiler review, we're going to have that on our review channel called i2i Reviews. We'll have links to that in the description. That is where we just talk about it. Free game. Everything's out in the open. Come on over there and check that out. It will be available about the same time that you're watching this as well. Until we assemble again.
May the force be with you.
And we'll see you real soon.
Bye, guys.